All right, so today we're gonna finish restoring the bezel or the cluster or the dash gauges for my 66 Mustang. I already did a part one to this video, which I thought I was gonna leave it, but I actually did some more research and found some more cool stuff that I can do to make it more modern and restore it a little better. So it's gonna be a mixed bag of things that we're gonna do today. One thing that's really annoying me with the gauges on the dash is that they're like this fluorescent blue green color because of these little blue caps that are sitting inside the gauge. So I read online that you can break them off and you get that clear white from your LED, because I already have LED lights in there and they still look very dim and bluish greenish, and I don't like that. So we're gonna take those out and see how that looks, and the results look actually pretty amazing. The next thing we're gonna do after that is actually go to the hobby shop, get some paint so we can paint the needles, because the needles are all faded. I originally was gonna change out the speedometer, which I bought because I thought my speedometer was broken, but I found out that I just unclocked it. I just had to clock it back, and I fixed it and it works, and that's all good. So that pretty much wraps up restoring that bezel. And if you guys are watching this episode, you guys are trying to restore your dash gauges on your 66 or 65 Mustang, you can go back. I'll put a link down below the video I made previously where we changed the actual plastic chrome bezel piece and the back glass, or it's actually plastic that sits back there. Also a link at the end of the video when you watch this video. Let's get to it. So I'm going to show you something interesting on this cluster that I have here. I have a really bright LED light. I don't like that my lighting on my Mustang cluster is green. I don't know if you guys could see that in the picture, but it's like green. I don't know how well that shows up, but it's green. I don't like that. So we're gonna take off those plastic covers and hopefully see if it comes out white. All right, so we took all the screws off, put them on a magnet. Take the top off because I wanna remove those plastic things. And on top, I got a new speedo gauge that I broke that I wanna replace. So I gotta replace the speedo needle that I broke, because now it sits down here. It should have been sitting like right there. Looks like I just bent something so I could bend it back, but anyways, I got a new one anyways. And also I'm gonna break off these blue tabs, which make the cluster look green for whatever reason, and this looks hideous. I am just gonna break them, I guess. Get one of these, punch them out. That worked. So I'm just gonna punch them out with my pick. There's one gone. Punch out the next one. That out. I got rid of all of them, so I just don't like the way these things look. They look terrible. It gives it like a green look. I don't understand why. Or blue, like it's like a greenish color. It's hard to see, but it like gives it like a green look. I want white. Get rid of those little blue things. Those things look ridiculous. It gives it a white color now. Look at that. So much better. Look at that. That's the correct one. Look at that. Now it looks good. That's the color I want. I don't want green. Why would you want green gauges? So much better. So to get that crispy white look, get rid of these dumb caps. They are junk. Throw them in the trash. That's where they belong. I damaged this little lever. It's supposed to sit at the 0 mark, and it sits way under because I had moved this on accident. I got a new one from CJ Classic Pony Parts. About $100 for it. But what's cool, it's at 0. And that one's like way cleaner than all the other ones, so it's not gonna match. I'd rather save this one because it has a true miles on the car. It has 47,000 miles on it. So what I'm gonna do next, let's take off these flatheads. And it came off pretty easy. Alright, so I'm gonna pull that one out. Like so. So I know that this goes this way. Little gasket broke. And this sits like that. Okay, quick note, I just fixed it. There's nothing wrong with the gauge. I guess what happened, if you hold this gear back here, I thought I had bent it back here or broke something, but if you hold the gear, I think what I did was I moved this when I was cleaning it. You can off center it, you can change it. So you just got to hold this gear right here in place right at the 0 spot, because it goes back to 0 every time. See that? Hold it at 0 and then calibrate it to 0 and you're good. So we're gonna reuse this. I'm actually gonna leave it disassembled. I'm gonna go to a hobby shop and see if I can repaint all these little arms. Plus I'm waiting for LEDs to come in the mail so I can reassemble all this stuff together. So we'll leave it apart for now, and we're gonna send the new one back. I wasn't gonna use it, but you can tell the patina on this new gauge. Plus, like, I like the fact that I have the chassis miles on it, and I'll continue to build those miles. It's crazy. It currently has 47,000 miles, so I'm gonna reuse this. All right, so we're gonna start painting the needles on these gauges. Want to be at that color. We purchased this at the hobby store. The color you're gonna look for is fluorescent red, which is a pretty close match to that. And then I got some brushes, which are kind of expensive, but I don't want it to be super streaky. So the brushes I picked up at the shop. What we're gonna do is we're gonna stuff a card in there, like a business card, so I don't get paint on it. I'm gonna cut it up, and then we'll start painting it and see what happens. Product with the needles nice and painted looks amazing. Came out great for $7. I highly recommend it. They look fresh and brand new. The L.E.D company that I bought my LEDs from, superbrightleds.com. Here are the LEDs I ordered originally. These are not the brightest one. I have some brighter ones coming. But this will give you the bulb size that you need, and then in the description down below I'll put the updated bulbs that I picked up. But the only ones I'm changing are the first 4, which you only have 4 that light up your LED, or that light up your dash gauges. And I kept the 2 right here, which is actually just green. You can see right here the bulb says green for your turn signals, and then there's 1 that's red. You'll see it on your Speedo. There's a little hole in the middle. So I think I paid like 22 bucks with shipping. So the brighter ones are a little more expensive. I bought 6 of them for backups. I think for those I paid $32 shipping, but that has way more LEDs on it. So just want to let you know. All right, so here's a good representation of what the lights look like. They look a little blue on here. To be honest with you, they're not blue. They're more of a white. A little whiter than that, which shows on the camera. I don't know why the color is a little off. It looks way better than that green. That's my stock, or that's my aftermarket tack gauge, and then I have my aftermarket oil pressure and bolts. But here's a little wide shot, and trust me, it looks a little wider than that. All right, guys, so that wraps up this video. As you guys saw, we removed those plastic little, I don't know what they call the light bulb cover bulbs things that make it look green, bluish, teal color. Looks way better now. It's nice and crispy white, which is what I was looking for. I ordered some new LEDs. I'll put a link description down below. I talked to another YouTuber that I think is building a 66 fastback, and he said, well, he went with these right here. I'll put a link here, or it'll be in the description down below. Which should be brighter. This is all I have for now, but I think it already looks light years better, and we get a little more brighter. I think it would be great. Painting the needles with that red neon from the hobby shop was great. The key on that I found out is lay it on thick. So get it on your brush really thick and dab it on the thing. And the paint's gonna look lumpy at first, but it'll settle. And trust me, it looked great. I don't know if you can get that paint everywhere, but I went to my local hobby shop and just told him, I brought in the actual new gauge. I'm like, I need this color. And he's like, oh, I know what color that is. And it was red neon. So it looks perfect. Looks perfect under light. Looks perfect at day and at night. So I highly recommend it. Just made the gauges look so good. I was going to replace it with the new gauge so I could kind of clock the new motor that's in the car. But I kind of wanted the chassis miles. And on top of that, I also noticed that the lettering on the new gauge were like crispy white. And right now, because of the patina of 50 plus years, they're a little yellow. So I decided not to change it and try to fix what I had, and I was able to fix it like just clocking, because I was off the zero, and you just hold the weight in the back and you clock it to zero, and it works great. I already drove it, tested it, everything works perfect. All right, guys, so if you guys have any questions, please leave comments down below. I love you guys, and I'll catch you on the next one.